always worthwhile when you come down to a mark to just assess the situation, watch the swells for a bit, see where they're moving, especially when it's rough like this. So we've had a lot of storms recently, so there's a lot of water movement. Yeah, so Will, because you haven't been down to this mark before, just going to explain roughly what it is. We have a lot of heavy ground in close, but as you get out bigger distance, we're going to cast some distance rods out there. It does break up and it gets a bit more cleaner, like clean mixed ground, sort of ground you might see some huss on and stuff like that. So we'll get some distance rods out there as far as we can, get past the ledges, onto that cleaner mixed stuff, and see what species we can pull off of it. We might chuck some in a little bit closer and see if we can get some of the rock species as well. But yeah, there's a lot of movement. So
there is a lot of movement happening.
Yeah, we're going to need the distance on those rods to get out past it, out to where the fish will be feeding. Let's get set up, boy. Welcome guys to an in-session video with me, Kieren, and Will from Penn. We're down here today on the Cornish coast, out on the rocks, fishing some mixed ground at distance. There's some rough ground in close, but we're putting baits out far, seeing what we can pull off the rough ground. It's been very rough recently, lots of storms. We've been itching to get out, so we found a little window and a mark that we can get away with it. You'll probably see in the video that it's pretty rough. But yeah, baits are out there, they've been doing their thing.
Yeah, we've had a few species already, a few fish under our belts, but there's a big swell rolling in, which makes getting them in pretty difficult, especially with the very rough ground in close. But yeah, we've had a few fish already, nice mix of species, so yeah, hopefully a few more and hopefully a few bigger fish. A few specimens would be nice, but yeah, out today after the storm, so anything's welcome.
Hello! He's coming! He's coming, boys, he's coming. Oh yeah, bite on. First cast, straight in. Dropped it for a minute. There was definite indication of a fish though. Something on it. Oh yeah. Fish on. Something small, but it's a fish. Woohoo! No monster, but it's a start, first cast. Oh, what is it, a rocklin or a cookie wrasse? It's a rocklin, first cast. Species number 1. There we go. Fish number 1 for me. A lovely, beautiful three-beard rocklin. Took the mackerel bait on the bottom. Nice. I said that we'd probably get a three-beard rocklin, so yeah, nice. No monster, I don't know, 12 ounces, something like that. Yeah, pretty cool. Let's get him unhooked. Well, there we have it. That didn't take long at all. My bait had literally been out a minute or so. Bite straight away. Little feisty bite. These three-beard rocklin, they really do give a feisty little bite for their size. But yeah, stunning fish. Nice colorations on it. These fish live around the rock and the kelps, predating on any real small scraps or fish or crustaceans. A bit of a greedy little fish for its size. So the sort of kit that I like to use for this sort of fishing is generally a classic beach caster style rod, normally rated from 4 to 8 ounce. So you know, you've got a little bit of sensitivity in the tip that you can pick up the bites, but you've got enough power that you can fly the leads out a good distance and enough power to bring a better fish over the structures and get it to you at the end of the day. So what I'm using a 4.5 metre rod and a 7,000 size reel, and I've got that loaded up with 40-pound braid, and this is the rod that I'm fishing the smaller baits on and aiming to get it that little bit further, maybe another 20-30 yards further than what I can put slightly bigger bait on the other rod. The other rod's 4.2 metre rod, an 8,000 side reel, and I've got a heavier braid on that because I'm generally fishing bigger bait, so I've got a 60-pound braid on that. And yeah, that one not going quite so far because obviously the drag of the bait through the air, but that one's got a little bit more power, it's a little bit shorter. I can really hammer in some leverage on better sized fish with that rod. But yeah, great rods all round. The tips, I like fishing, especially like when you've got a good swell like this, I like fishing a rod with quite a tippy action, because as those swells come round and catch the line, the rod will just bury into the swell and flex back, bury into the swell, flex back. If you've got a really stiff rod, especially with braid, all you're going to do is just, as that flexes round, you're just going to keep bumping your leads out, and it will just keep rolling until eventually it finds a snag if you're fishing over mixed ground, or if you're on clean ground, it's just going to be forever moving. But then you'd probably go over to the grip leads anyway. But yeah, that's the kit that I use. It's doing the job. That's the main thing at the end of the day. So I'll just run you through one of the rigs that we're choosing to use today, given these conditions and the style of fish that we're trying to target. So this is a 2-hook paternoster rig. I'm fishing it on all mono. So when we're fishing over rough ground and gear loss is kind of inevitable, I like to keep everything as simple as possible, minimalistic. Less tackle is better, realistically. It's less to lose at the end of the day. But also in the water down here, I mean, it is a little bit coloured up today because we've had so many storms, but generally when the water's clear, I like to use as little end tackle, furniture as we call it, swivels and stuff like that, as possible. So what I do, I tie a 2-hook loop rig, all on mono. You can see my top knot there, off to my top snood, and all I'm using there is like a size 1 strong short shank crab hook style octopus hook. You can use a strong Aberdeen as well, but I like to use these short shank strong hooks purely because we are fishing over rough ground and there is chance of hooking better big fish as well. And these little short shank hooks, they're pretty strong for their size, and you have a chance of landing some big fish on small hooks. You know, you could get a nice pollock, even huss can pick this up, coalfish, nice wrasse. So you want something that can hold up. So I've got my top hook there, and then I've got my bottom snood there. I keep them nice and short, about 8 inches in length, something like that, and then follow it down. I've got a little rotten bottom clip there. If I just unhook that there, that is my weak link. As you can see there, you might be able to see it, there's a little granny knot in the line, and all I do is just bite it with my teeth slightly to flatten the line as well, to get a definite weak spot in that line. And a little handy trick you can do, just to keep your line out the way when you hook it up onto your rotten bottom clip, instead of just going like that, and you can see you can have a loop of line. Sometimes that might get hooked onto your hook. If it's close, I just spin my weight so there's a twist in the line, and it will sit like that, and it's nice and neat out the way. And I'm baiting that up. I'm fishing one small mackerel bait on the bottom and a worm bait on top, because we are trying to get a few different species today. The small mackerel bait will pick up like your rockling, dogfish, maybe a huss if we're lucky, maybe a pollock, and your top hook with the ragworm, that's obviously trying for wrasse as well as stuff like pollock too. But yeah, we've got one of these out, it's been fishing well, had a few fish on it, so yeah, give it a try. Go, rigged up, ready to go, second cast. I literally can't wait to get a bait in the water. We've not been here 5 minutes, I've had 2 rods in the water. I had a nice little rockling, and Will unfortunately lost a good fish. Pretty sure it's an eel because it sort of like spun him up and bit him off. There's some big swells booming around though. It's not easy to fish. Yeah, bite on. Oh, yeah. All kicking off here, really. Oh yeah, she's still there. Just feeling for that bite at the minute. Yep, fish on. Oh, it's took me in the bottom. Oh, it's took me on in the bottom. He's still there. Yep, it's out. I got it.
Double look up.
This, what have we got? It's a dog or a huss. Maybe a small huss. Or a dog, one of them. Swell. It's a dogfish, the humble dogfish, but second cast,
Fish
species
on.
number 2, fish on for Will, all action stations, Will's got a better fish on. Keep him coming, Will. More drag, more more energy, more power.
Man,
He's done you again, what's going on? No fish? Or just a fish?
No fish?
if there is, it's small. Yeah, there you go. No.
There's something there, isn't there? Yeah!
Hey,
Another species. It's a
another
conger
species
eel.
for the list.
Only a small one, but that's it. Slow. Well done, Will.
Another species for the list.
Yeah, 3 species in what? Nearly as many casts.
Yeah. Can't keep a rod in the water at the moment.
Yeah, it's bites galore, but cool, man. Really tricky conditions, man, this. Yep. Will,
Nice.
do you want it?
Nah, you have it, you take it.
There we go. That's why he gave it a cracking bite. Will was busy with his other rod, so he said for me to take it. Managed to get it out the bottom. That top hook was snagged in, it straightened it out. But yeah, nice ballan wrasse and another species.
Yeah, there you go.
Species number 4. We'll take it.
Nice ballan wrasse. Kieren was fortunate to grab the rod for me while I was baiting up another rod, but yeah, got a snag, but then Kieren straightened the top hook out and managed to land this nice ballan wrasse. 4th species of the day? Yeah, 4th species. So cracking little session in some pretty hectic conditions, but yeah, let's get some more. So I thought I'd just run you through the bigger rig that we're using. So it's a really simple pulley. If I was out on over clean ground, I would use things like splashdown clips, proper pulley beads, but we're not doing that here. It's pretty rough in close, and we are getting snagged quite a lot of the time. So it's really simple stuff. Ultra short pulleys. If I was fishing with rays, over clean ground, I'd be looking for the longest rig possible. But here, ultra short, strong mono. I think this is 100 pound, down to a big single hook, no pennels. I believe that's a 6/0 thick wire. You've got to give them some stick to get them out the rough ground. Yeah, ultra simple. Just clipping it over bent link clip. No splashdowns. There's not really the need. We're not going ultra far, and it is pretty rough. So just clipping it down like that, and then using a little rotten bottom just to send the lead out there. But yeah, it is pretty rough. So we're not getting many of the leads back, but we're getting most of the fish back, which is good. But yeah, just a stretch of 20 pound mono there, which breaks way before the rig. So yeah, helps get all the fish back, but it's proven good so far. And yeah, it's nice to use a single hook over the rough stuff. Definitely prevents a few tackle losses, and the small baits sit nicely on it. So yeah, it's been working well so far. So fingers crossed for something a bit.
Thought I'd chuck a little jig around, and yeah, little Joey mackerel. Second cast. fresh bait if ever I've seen it. And another species.
Just creating a nice, fairly small bait. Nice and compact. You don't really need a pennel with hooks with baits this size. Making sure the hook's nice and proud. Not too much elastic, but enough to keep it nice and together. Sit on the bottom like that. Hopefully a nice hustle. Not a better Conger will take that. Take a light shine to that. Yeah, fingers crossed. Clipping the bait down onto Gemini link clip. Keep it nice and secure. You don't really need a splashdown when you're fishing close in. Nice and streamlined. You can chuck that a decent distance if you need to. I tend to prefer just trial and error, chucking one close in, one further out, seeing where the fish are, seeing if you can get it in a gully where a nice fish is residing. So hopefully there's a fish out there that takes a fancy for that.
Oh yeah. That's coming, isn't it, Will? Yep. It's out, it's not massive. Oh no, yep, she's fighting now. Well, another conger eel. Say it had to be something half decent to take a good mackerel head like that. No monster by any means, a few pounds, but yeah, another fish. That's what we come out for. We just want to be fishing, catching fish. Bending the rod, that's the main thing. Got them out the bottom. These are little slippery rascals, man. They're kind of hard to hold. No monster. But yeah, especially for me, conger eel. When these get of like a more considerable size, £10 plus, £15 plus, you have a real hard going on the rod to get them out the bottom over the rough ground, but hopefully we'll get a bigger one. Let's pop them back. Got fish on.
Fish on, boy.
Fish on. It's not massive.
Was this on the big or small bait?
The small bait.
Yeah, boy.
It's probably a rat, I imagine, by the feel of it.
What, did you go just
It might be over that York rod.
I think you should come underneath.
There you go. You're right, so just grab that. There you go.
Beautiful.
Nice wrasse, beautiful colours on it, quite a pale on this. Yeah, maybe because it's quite swelly out there today. Big swell on, but yeah. Lovely pale fish, beautiful colours on the head of it. Lovely light blue. Yeah. Stunning fish, just on a bit of ragworm after a bit anything.
Well guys, that is the end of today's session. It wasn't an easy session by any means. The conditions were even more hectic than what we anticipated. But that being said, we managed to push through the conditions, work with it, and managed to winkle out a few fish between us.
Yeah, we had a few ballan wrasse, a rockling, a few congers, the ever obliging dogfish, and Kieren even managed a small mackerel at the end. But yeah, pushed us over 5 species. The big swells coming in, breaking right over us, pushing our gear right into the rough stuff, so it did get difficult at times, but we fished through it. We got a few different species, which was nice, a nice mixed day's fishing, and yeah, good to be back out after the storms.
Yeah, for sure. There was a lot of momentum to the session. At one point, we could hardly keep a rod in the water between us. We was trying to fish 2 rods each, but we literally couldn't even keep 1 rod in the water. There was that many bites. But the fish seemed to have the very like high activity period. It was just a real struggle to get them out of the rough ground with the swells rolling our leads off of the cleaner stuff onto the rough ground. But that being said, we still managed some. I'm glad to be out. It's been a good fun day with you, Will.
Yeah,
so,
great session.
Yeah, beats being at home. Goodbye for now, guys. Hopefully we'll see you again.